All right, we're back with another video here in the garage, and today we're going to be working on the Ferrari 360 burnt engine that I'm going to make into basically garage art. But you can already see I've already done a little bit of cleanup work on it. So basically what I've done is just went ahead and removed the full exhaust system on it, and then got that out of the way. And then I've been trying to chip away at some, if you remember the previous video, there was a lot of melted like aluminum and stuff like that all around here. I got some of that cleaned up, and I got some of this cleaned up here too. But the problem is there's a lot of like aluminum that's really thick that has dripped down in here, and is like a big block now, and it's kind of, I can't access the bolts to it. So it was really bad on this side. Let me see over here. This stuff is like really nasty over here. It was really bad over here, and you know, I finally got it out, and I got access to this bolt over here in this area here, so I can get the intake up. But right here, I've been chipping away at this, and it's really hard. And I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to damage the cylinder head or anything like that. So what I did was I went ahead and bought these valve covers that I found online. I didn't need anything new because I'm going to get them repowder coated, but just something that was structurally intact. So actually these, I got the old valve cover off, and I put these on just to protect the top of the cylinder head as I'm trying to beat on this. I'd rather damage this than damage the cylinder head itself. But actually, if you look, I don't know if it's hard, it's probably going to be hard to see, but these valve covers actually line up really nice and flat with the surface of the head. So the head, I don't think it's warped at all. It actually looks pretty good. But you know, I won't know until I actually take them off, and then we'll check them out really good. But yeah, so and then right here, I kind of cleaned this up a little bit. In here, you can see I got a lot of that burnt debris out, and I started removing some parts like the bracket and stuff that was right here. One of the tensioners and stuff like that. And then what else I did over here? Let me see. I got some of this cleaned up here. I got like the engine mounts removed, stuff like that. But yeah, see, you can see the aluminum right here is just piled up so thick I can't get to the bolts. So I've been trying to figure it out. I have to find something, the way to get that, to grind it out or something to get to the bolts for the intake here. But I did pick up another intake, the lower anyway. I got that, and then I got, let me see what else. I got this aerator that goes right here. I got that. That actually came in today, but I wasn't here to sign for it. So, and then the F1 unit, I went ahead and took that off. And then I got it set to the side. I'm going to tear that apart, and we'll go through it and see what's salvageable in that unit. And I think that's about it. One thing I did notice, though, is I was hoping to maybe, I think I got overzealous when I was saying, I think it's going to be really good inside. But I forgot that, when I took off the exhaust manifold here on this side here, I noticed that if you look right here, you see there's a lot of white, like film in there. It's really thick. And this was the only one that was like that. And then when I pulled the header off, it had water in it. Only on this one, on this one port right here, it was in the exhaust manifold itself. Well, when I dumped it out, there wasn't a lot there. But I'm thinking that white film is maybe fire retardant or something. I don't know, because it's like all over the engine. And you know what? I didn't realize that maybe when they were spraying this, when the car was on fire and they were spraying it down, that water was running down the intake, down these tubes and stuff, and it's probably, I bet you the cylinders are probably full of water. But I mean, hopefully not, but I think they got water in it, so hopefully it didn't ruin it, maybe rust it up, or beyond repair. But we'll know when we start tearing it down and get to the inside of the block. But I think right now what we're going to do is, I brought my friend Harry over. He's been into many different Ferraris for years, but he's going to help me out because I need help with this gearbox. So what we're going to do today is we're going to remove the gearbox from this engine block here, and I can get it off, and then we'll start tearing this down and going through it. And then so there's going to be several, it's going to be really easy to remove. It's just there's a bunch of big fasteners like here, here, there's one right there, and there's one right there, so on and so forth on the other side. And then once we remove those, it should come off. The only thing is we got the cable now for the starter, So I think I can get under here and get that off, that bolt or the nut that's probably holding it on, and remove this. If not, we just have to cut it right here. And then I think once those are off, I think there's 2 more fasteners. Yeah, there's 2 more. There's one here, there, and there's one on the other side, I think. And then we'll have to remove those, and I think it should be ready to come off. And then we could just pull on it and slide it off. And so that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to go ahead and lift this up, and then we'll start to get this unbolted, and we'll get it off, and I'll come back. All right, so we got the gearbox off. So, and Harry's, he just left a little while ago. So yeah, thanks to Harry for coming over and helping me carry this gearbox and set it to the side. Yeah, I definitely couldn't have done it by myself. One thing is, when we took all those fasteners off, those nuts, they're just 17 millimeter fasteners there that holds this on. We were having problems getting it off, so I kind of found out it was just digging into the rubber mat here. So we had to put a 2x4 under there to kind of get it up a little bit. It was still catching some, but it wasn't one. It was kind of grabbing, and it was really kind of stuck on our. Both of us were tugging on it. Kind of find out, once, we just had to stick a little, not a little, but a flat head, pretty big one in here, and this side here, and just lightly tap on it to kind of, and one on both sides, and just kind of work it while shaking it, and then it finally came off. And what it was is, there was a bunch of plastic that was melted, like a bunch of the, looks like sensors or something that dropped and was caught up in there, and it was kind of jamming it up a little bit. But we got it off, and yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It's got, it's just smoke from the fire just came in there and just kind of covered everything, but it looks good though. There's nothing, I don't see anything melted or anything like that. It still looks good. But we'll clean it up, the clutch and everything, as best we can, and put it back on the engine. But I think the clutch is still good in it. And here's the gearbox. Okay, got it sitting to the side over there, and there's that intake I picked up. So that came in earlier in the week. I got that. So we'll get that cleaned up, and that's going to make a really nice part of the engine. Once I get that on there, and the covers on there, it's in that nice red and stuff like that, that's going to look really nice. So here's the gearbox, and then went ahead and pulled, to try to get some of the weight out of it so it wouldn't be so heavy. Went ahead and pulled that cover off here for the differential. Of course, the O-ring shot, and the bearing right there is it's shot to all the seals and stuff. It just burnt out of it, and it's locked up. So that's going to need to be replaced. So I might have an extra one somewhere I can just press in if I have to. If not, I ain't gonna worry about it, just as a display for now anyway. There's a differential. It looks very, very good. The bearings are nice and free. They move good. It's just the heat, the amount of heat that was on this gearbox. Of course, when it melted out the filter, and stuff in the back of the gearbox back there, all the gear oil just drained out of it. And then the remnants of the oil just kind of baked on all the components with inside the gearbox. But the bearings and everything's still good, and everything looks pretty good. So these pieces right here are just, they can be cleaned up, but they can be reused. And let me show you inside here. So let me get straightened up here. I'm trying to crawl around on my knees here. And then this is what it looks like here. Actually, let me shut this camera off and see if I can turn the light on real quick. All right, there we go. See better. But you see the heat actually got inside of here. Yep. But that bearing is still good. That release bearing, yeah, it moves freely. I don't want to get my hands all greasy by touching it, but let me back up here. Seals look good. Not saying I would reuse it that way. I'd probably put all new seals and stuff in it, just rebuild it. But it moves really nice, so it didn't affect the bearing too much. There's part of the starter sticking through. And that's it. Let me see. See it kind of melt that out all up there. The sensor, there's one on the side here. Nothing too crazy. Get that cleaned up and it'll look like new. And let me show you inside the gearbox here. Let's see if I can lay down here, show you. And this is what it looks like. And like I said earlier, all the gear oil, excuse me, all the gear oil drained out and basically just baked in there. But gears look good. And I'm sure that bearing's probably shot in there on that side. Okay, let's go to the back real quick. Let me see. Get up here. And I'll show you. One of the gears came out when I had actually taken this back off when I was cleaning it up. I just went ahead and removed it. And then, let me see if I can get around up here. But that came out. I was going to put it back in, but it can be a little tricky because you gotta, this part right here lines up with the oil pump that's inside there. I don't know if I can get a shot in there. You might be able to see it. Let me see. Got the phone. See it right there? That little tab that's inside there? That's part of the oil pump. But that gear rides off of this gear here, and then it turns that oil pump in there. Let's see here. I think is it touching on that one? Actually, I think it might ride off this gear here. I don't know. It's one of those gears. But I'm not going to try to fit it in there because I got the camera in my hand. But anyway, you get the point. But it looks good in there. I don't see any. Of course, there's a lot of debris when we were moving it around. Taking this off, it just kind of dropped in there. But it looks really good. I think it should clean up really nice. This piece right here looks a little bit worse than what I thought. So this area here. So I don't know if that's going to be salvageable. We'll have to see. But it'd be good for a display, just clean it up. But I do have another one of these pieces right here, so it's not an issue. And just replace it. And that's pretty much it for that. Well, I tell you what, let me see if I can get on this side here. Somebody might want to see this here. With the F1 unit, removed it here. You can see inside there. Looks really good, just a little bit of rust in there. Just no big deal. Okay, so let's go over it and I want to show you the F1 system. Okay, so here's a part of the F1 system. This is actually the actuator assembly that goes on the side of the gearbox. And yeah, it's just so nasty. I had to put it on this piece of cardboard here. You know, the floor I have to keep sweeping it every. You know, I bought that big vacuum over just to keep the engine clean over there. But I have to mop the floor like every time I finish working over it because this stuff is just so nasty and it just gets everywhere. All this carbon from this burnt, you know, remnants of this stuff that was burnt on here. But yeah, it looks not too bad. Of course, these lines, what I'm going to do is I'll break these. I'll put some penetrating oil on there so I can get those to come off. And then what I can do is I'll try to take it apart as best I can. And then we'll see what's inside, what it looks like. But this part is pretty much trashed right here. If you can see, that's where one of the potentiometers go. So it's kind of melted the aluminum, and it's kind of you know, started melting this way. So it's not even pretty much round anymore. So it's basically junk. But like I said, for a display, you know, it'll probably clean up and look halfway decent. But trying to put a potentiometer in there ain't gonna work. But we'll see. Maybe I can find somebody might have one online or something I can pick up cheap and just replace it. I think that's about it. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Let me get my gloves and I can flip this over and show you what it looks like. Okay. So this is the other side. Yeah, you can see where it melted right there. Yeah, that's a shame. I thought it was going to be able to salvage this, but yeah, it doesn't look like it. Okay. So, all right. So what I'm going to get to work. I'll go ahead and break these lines off real quick, and then we'll just trash all this stuff, and then what I'll do is I'll try and take it apart right here, these fasteners here, and try to pull this assembly off here. I'll try to take it probably just separate it right there, and we'll take a look at it. I'm trying to think. You know what? I take that back. Here's what I'll probably do. I'll take these lines off right here. Since this is, you know, it looks pretty bad. Let me try to clean it up a little bit, and then I'll come back, and then we'll try and take it apart. So let me do that. Okay, I didn't get it cleaned up yet. I just want to show you this. I got the lines off, but what happened is these fittings, only 2 of them came off, and then you look, see the aluminum was still just, but the rest of them, some just snapped off. This one came out too, but it's still destroyed. It's just the heat was just too much for it. It's just destroyed it. So yeah, you can see right here, it just messed the whole. Oh, look at that one there. There's just too much heat. Messed it up. So this thing's trash. Yeah, maybe I can find a way to cut that off or grind it off. I don't want to. If I'm going to use this for the display, it still looks good right here. I'm afraid though, if I try to take these fasteners off here, that it's going to be like these here and not want to come off, and I could probably break those off or shear them, and then I can't put it back together, you know. So I decided, you know, just to leave it the way it is. At least we got this off, and then because I can at least, you know, put this back on the gearbox, and at least we'll try to get it cleaned up as best we can. And then probably what I do now is I'll take these brackets off here so I can clean under here, and then I'm not worried about, you know, getting I'm going to vapor hone this real quick, and then I'm not worried about getting slurry or anything in these holes, because it is trash anyway. But my main thing is like this emblem right here is going to look really nice, you know, put back on the side of the gearbox, so it makes it look pretty. And then what I'll do is I'll keep an eye online in the future, or I might run across somebody with maybe either a good one for cheap, or a bad one that maybe is better on the outsides, but the insides are no good. I mean, if I can pick one up for cheap, I'll do that, and then we'll see what we can do about that, and then we swap this out for a better one. But anyway, so let me. I'm going to take these brackets off here. Looks like a couple 13mm fasteners. Get these out of the way, and then I'll try to clean it, and I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. I got the actuator cleaned up. It looks pretty good, but I want to show you this real quick. There's those brackets that I took off here, off the actuator, the fasteners, and then these fittings right here. These are all good still. What I'm going to do is, like these fittings here, I'll chase those threads. I'll chase them down and clean them up, get that aluminum off, and they'll be good. And then I'll vapor hone these brackets right here. Even though they're kind of pitted, they still should come out pretty good. And then once I clean them up, then what I'll do is, years ago I used to have one of those Coswell zinc plating kits at home you can do. I'll probably buy another one of those because it did pretty good in the past, but it's been many years since I've used it. But we'll probably order one of those where I can go ahead and plate these in like yellow chromate, give it that nice yellowish, goldish color, and they should look pretty good. Yeah, so some of these parts are still good. You know, these hoses, those are all trash, but this is a mess. I mean, my hands, even though I clean them, they're still nasty and dirty. But and here's the actuator that I vapor honed. It turned out pretty good. It's a little bit darker than usual because the media is so black. I've already vapor honed a bunch of parts off the engine. I just didn't show. I don't make a video on every little piece that I do, but I've done like the motor mounts and brackets and stuff all in the front of the engine. I did all that. But you know, when they're dirty like this, it gets the media dirty really fast. I vapor honed some other stuff besides the engine parts, but so it's like really black, super nasty, dirty. But it still cleans pretty good, even though it's nasty. But just the finish is a little bit darker. The media that I was using, I just have the microhone, which is the small machine. And then later on, I plan on, when I move to my new house, I'll plan on getting the bigger machine. That way I can fit the engine block and the gear casing in it. And it should come out just like this. The engine block should look just like that. And then, but the small machine, it's, I mean, I just barely got this in there, you know. And it was hard for me to even get the ends and stuff. And then with it being so small, with the media clean in there, I use like a little headlamp on, and I put my head right up against the glass, and then it lights the whole inside of the machine up just really nice. I can see really good. But once the media gets really nasty and dirty, it's even with the light, it's even hard for me to even see anything at all. So what I have to do is, once it gets that dirty, I have to use kind of feel around, and then say if I want to clean this area here and here, I have to get my finger there, and then kind of wave the gun around till it starts shooting that slurry at my finger here. Then I know it got it in the area, and then I move it, and then I can kind of shoot this area here. And if I want to shoot this over here, kind of feel around. Once it hits my finger, I move it, and then I know I'm in that area right there. So probably about 70% of the time I was cleaning this, I couldn't even see the part. I just kind of waving it around, just hit or miss. But it still turned out pretty good. Let me see right here. This is still black right here because there's some remnants of the rubber from the hose. The vapor honing doesn't remove any rubber or damage any plastic or anything. It just basically cleans it. Just like this right here. That's why it looks like it's painted. It just basically cleans the topography of the metal and doesn't remove it. It's almost like a polish, kind of, really. You think about it. So anyway, yeah, there's this side. Let me flip the back over right here. And like I said, there's some areas I missed, but it looks pretty good. This surface right here turned out really nice. It's really silky smooth, even though these pieces in here, really smooth. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's not too bad at all. So yeah, it's a shame that it's messed up down here, but oh well, it's just the way it is. Like I said, we'll keep an eye out for another piece. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video here. And like I said, I'll try to post more videos as the progress goes on this engine, and then it just be in random order. It's not going to be like one day it's going to be this or this or this. It's just whatever I decide to do, that's where I'm going to go at, and then I'll try to video it if I think somebody might be interested. I'm not going to do like a bunch of nuts and bolts or anything like that. I ain't going to make a video on that. But anyway, I think this is going to end it here. So all right, guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and then we'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Be safe. Okay, bye.